This podcast contains coarse language, adult themes, and spoilers.
My name's Peach, and for the past couple of years I've been helping my friend Shag overcome his childhood aversions to everyday foods in the podcast Fussy Eater. Now it's his turn to help me conquer my phobia of scary movies over one spooky night in the FBI studios, one Wikipedia synopsis at a time. This is Spooko.
There was an album that Justin Timberlake released in, I think, like 2013. And if I recall, it wasn't the Get Me on My Suit and Tie, the sort of coming back with Timberland that I actually quite liked, that I know I'm not allowed to still like. And that's fine. I accept both of those ththings. But I think there was a sequel to that one called like Man of the Woods, where he was like, oh, all that stuff with like, what I really am is I'm like a, I don't know, Louisiana type of dude, and I live in log cabins, and I'm a real man of the woods around here. And he was revealed, like, you already know the end of the story, revealed to be a kind of stolen valor situation where, much as he was with Timberland, he's playing a role. Shag, I'm sort of back from a Man of the Woods moment myself of stolen valor. Like, I live on a property with some land on it. There's some fallen logs. And most of the time we have some strapping young men running young businesses do every single fucking bit of looking after the property. But every 6 months or so, I'm like, I'm getting out a saw. I'm getting out an axe. I'm going to go do some axey wood choppy stuff. Shag, it brings us to our guest today because one of the fun things you do is you find old logs and you set them up and you burn them. And the bad news or good news or circle of life news is that as you burn old wet wood, you'll find that there are some little critters that were alive in there who need to flee for their safety. That's a bit of a horror film for those critters. Those bugs might need heroes, but they're not me. We're here speaking with Dr. Kelly Zimmerman. Doc, you're here to bless us with your entomology knowledge, with your genetics knowledge. You're here to bless us with an understanding of our, what, I was going to say four-legged creatures, but I was going to go 6-leg, 8-leg, 100-leg, however many legs. First question is, are there any four-legged critters going around?
Not in the bug world, no.
Do we start the count at 6?
We start the count at 6. Although what's cool, you mentioned maybe like millipedes and centipedes. When they hatch, they also only start with 6 legs. And then with each molt, they get more and more legs.
Yeah. I mean, that's already horrifying. Oh my God. Like, what the fuck?
Does the millipede get to, I nearly said 1 million, but how many legs does a millipede get to?
Oh, not 1 million. It's...
Sorry, I was happy to,
yeah.
So we are once again joined by Dr. Kelly Zimmerman, and I wanted to bring you back on the show. And I think, like... this all happened pretty quickly. Spooko is very loosey-goosey. We come up with an idea, we act on it, and then we just sort of move on. And something that people still talk about is your appearance on Spooko when you joined us to talk about that spider movie. I can't even remember. Nice. What was that movie called? What was that? That spider? It was like Le Spider.
Not infected, but something.
Oh, infested. Yeah. Right. So... and I think it had a profound effect on me because it's definitely changed the way I view bugs. Maybe not in the real world. I'm still very scared of bugs and I still kill cockroaches. And
if they're in your house, it's your house, man. It's okay.
I love the American view of bugs. That's my favorite thing. It's like whatever it is, the My Castle law with bugs. It's like
the castle doctrine with bugs here in the US.
Like it's like an open carry with bug spray. Yeah. I'm with you.
Yeah.
But Peach, is it postmodernism how like we now can't look at any text without looking at all of its
Shag,
themes and
go.
things? Is that what postmodernism is?
Sort of like post-structuralism, postmodernism, and we like to use those words as if they're contemporary when they were coined in the 1960s. But like, essentially, it's like putting works in context, or Shag, as the preppy private school English teachers we had used to say, like, oh, it means that a phone book's just as important as Shakespeare. Oh, I don't really appreciate it. So it depends on the amount you tangle with it, but I like to think of it as that, like Roland Barthes idea of the death of the author, right? Like the work is just a product that is out there in its context, and we kind of take it how we say it. We're all men in the woods out here, people in the woods.
So I was on our Discord and someone joined the Discord, and on the Feel Bad Club Discord, there's an intro channel where you can intro yourself, and this person joined and said one of their favorite films was I guess like a cult John Carpenter classic that we've never covered. And in fact, I'd never seen.
I hadn't seen it either. It's a deep cut for sure.
Right? It's a real, and it's John Carpenter. It's not like we're talking about literally any other horror director. It's the horror director. It's his deep cut. And I'd never seen it. And I thought, okay, number one, I have to see this. And as soon as I saw it, I loved it so much. And I was like, we need to cover it. But because Spooko has changed the way I see horror films, and especially the episode we did with you, Doctor, I did notice an undercurrent of anti-bug propaganda. And not only anti-bug propaganda that we'll get into in the specifics of this film, but what I'd like to ask you, Doctor, before we get into the actual synopsis, have you noticed that in satanic and devil-focused horror movies particular, they sort of use bugs as like the devil's servants? Like, have you why do you think that is?
Oh man, you want this to be a 3-hour episode for us?
We've only got 2.5, Doc. Yeah.
Even the way we name bugs, there's a beetle called the devil's stagecoach. It's just people think bugs are yucky or dirty and carry disease, and most of them don't really, but and it's the creep factor, right? They've got, what Peach said earlier, they've got too many legs. So they just make people uncomfortable. and you get swarms. This movie, we had quite a few sort of gregarious swarming insects that came up quite a few times. And
Doc, please tell me you're using the word gregarious in like a technical sense, that like in the study of entomology, that's a reference to a way bugs swarm.
You mean like, oh God, I forgot, like the regular way to use it is they're outgoing. These aren't like outgoing peppy bugs.
They're like a lot of red plastic cups and kegs of beer and stuff. They're like, hey, come round to my house.
Gregarious insects, I'm thinking of things like lady beetles, where in the fall they will come together, but they're not colonial, right? They don't have nests. They're not like bees or wasps or ants. So a bug that is not colonial but likes to come together, even maybe like a cockroach, would be considered gregarious.
Well, I love that it's a technical term. Can I ask, though, that, and we will get to this film very, very soon, and there's lots of questions I have about it, and so I'm so glad you're able to join this episode. Yeah. We're keeping it gregarious. There's quite a few shots of bugs crawling on each other. Do bugs like crawling on? Like, I mean, are they happy to just basically be a mass and crawling on each other and being connected? Like, are bugs comfortable with that?
Yeah, it probably depends on the bug, but bugs that have bad eyesight would prefer to touch each other, like, again, like cockroaches, or I have a bunch of roly-poly colonies in my lab, and they don't have very good eyesight, so they're always touching each other. It just makes them know that they're not by themselves, which is dangerous for a very small animal to be alone, especially if they happen to be a gregarious organism. So yeah, they're totally fine with crawling all over each other. What do you guys call roly-polies down there, by the way?
Yeah, like I was like, we're talking the technical use of gregarious, the technical use of colonial. It's like, oh yeah, bit of a roly-poly.
What is a roly-poly?
Roly-poly is more colloquial. Woodlice? Do you call them woodlice? Isopod?
Ooh, I don't like the word lice at all, but
termites?
Is it a tick?
No, they're like little gray guys, and when you touch them, they roll up in a ball.
Oh, no, I know those. I don't.
What do you guys call them?
I have no idea. I guess we call them roly-polies now. That's what I'm going to call them.
We're watching Alone with the Golden Children. I was like, I call them bush tucker. Like it was like it's going to be my first thought.
Once again, joined by our resident bug expert, Dr.
Let's
Kelly
go.
Zimmerman,
Thanks for having me.
to discuss the John Carpenter deep cut that I'm ashamed I haven't seen till now because I loved it so much. Today, Peach, we're doing 1987's American supernatural horror film, Prince of Darkness.
Can I just give some feedback on the choice of film? Like, I think I'm coming to this being about my favorite sort of era, this like late 80s into the 90s, playful, not particularly scary, but sort of knows exactly what it is. I think if I were to ever get into horror films, to the extent I'm not, and yeah, like we're building on increasingly shaky foundations with the core thesis of this podcast. But I think if horror films were to speak to me, I think it's this late 80s, early 90s, schlocky, campy, playful kind of phase.
Peach, you would love this movie. There is so much to love about it, except the awkward 1980s style gay jokes that are all the way through it.
Some racist jokes in there too. It was something.
It is funny when you watch a film from the 80s and it's like, we just were super bigoted all the time in public. It just didn't matter.
Like, no one even thought about it.
I used to watch a lot of battle rap, and just it's like, this is just like homophobia trading. Of like, here's my latest homophobia, if you will. All right, I'm gonna watch this.
All right, let's do this.
Anyone in close proximity has the same dream.
What is it?
A secret that can no longer be kept. It started a month ago.
What started?
A change in the earth and the sky. His power.
There's a weird locking mechanism. Looks like it can only be opened from the inside.
A life form is growing out of prebiotic fluid. It's not winding down into disorder. It's self-organizing. It's becoming something. What?
When I say I don't know what I was expecting, I do know what I was expecting, and it wasn't that. The very, what's it called, like cinema verite, the kind of like over the shoulder, like slightly shaky camera, but the kind of lack of expertise in the filmmaking makes you question whether it's deliberate or whether it's just poor craftsmanship in the composition of the shot. No, I'm actually like I'm on Amber Alert for this actually not be like maybe it's a trailer that reflects poorly on it that doesn't really sing the praises of the film, but that was a slightly baffling sort of experience. I don't know. I'm on Amber Alert for this one, team.
It is a really bad looking film in many ways.
Yeah.
It is. My understanding is it's a bit of a cheaper film than John Carpenter maybe was doing in the era because he just made Big Trouble in Little China. And I think he'd become disillusioned with the sort of big studio scene. So went back to his roots to make something very dark, very naughty, very strange. And also, like, obviously he did the score for this film. And he did the score by getting the film on VHS, playing it on TV, getting his keyboard in front of him and just writing it while he was watching.
Wow.
Like right?
Wow.
Like it's just, I mean, this is a very bizarre film, but also I think one of the reasons why I've never watched it and it is I guess the synopsis of this film in a tweet or a zeet or whatever you call them now is basically they discover Satan under a church in downtown LA. And it turns out Satan is a big vat of green goo. And I'm a bit like, like, it's not like I'm not interested, but I'm also like, I don't know what to do with that. That's just...
Yeah.
That's just a bit silly.
Because Ghostbusters 2 was at about around the same time, I think
was.
canonically.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And it feels very, very similar to what you've just described, but with more charismatic actors, shot better, and with better cinematography. So I guess shot better cinematography. I'm sort of a bit disoriented around here.
But you know what? It is, once you actually start to watch it, it reveals itself to be something incredibly interesting, very flawed, very anti-bug in many ways. So I'd love to talk about that.
Very anti-bug.
But it puts a scientific lens on devil worship and the idea of like a devil leading apocalypse, which I've never seen a horror film do, and I absolutely loved. And once again, we have an actual scientist on the call, so I'm very excited to dive into the scientific method behind the protagonists in this film.
This is one of my favorite genres. My favorite horror genre is folk horror, but when that folk horror dips into like the Catholic Church, I'm like, yeah, this is the stuff. And then they threw science on top of it, so color me impressed.
So before we get into it, there's a guy called, I think his name's Stephen Kutcher, who was the insect wrangler on this project. Now, this project involved 6,000 stink beetles, which we'll get to. I think their name's stink beetles, and 3,000 worms. Can I ask, before we jump into this, you're about to do field work with your students over the summer break. Is that how a insect wrangler on a film? Like, do you just go out and look for bugs? Like, how would you get 6,000 stink beetles?
Do we still use the language wrangler as well? Because it feels quite, it feels very, very inopportune.
I don't know about the term, but I would assume they're breeding them. So in my lab, I have these isopods or roly-polies or whatever you want to call them. And I started with maybe a dozen in each colony, and then they breed. And now one tank I have probably almost 1,000.
Oh, jeez.
So I'm sure this bug expert is breeding them in huge, believe it or not, probably not tanks. My lab is set up so that people can come in and look at them too, and it's kind of like a, hey, look at this stuff we do at the university. If I weren't trying to like entice students in my lab, these guys would all be in bins, like the bins you shove under your bed. That's what they would be in. So that's probably what this guy's bugs live in.
Yeah, okay. So he's essentially a bug farmer.
Yeah, he's like a bug breeder.
And again, I feel like we've spoken about my work a fair bit recently, but it just reminds me of a nightmarish matter I had where we were dealing with issues relating to a rat farmer, someone who's farmed rats. And that was their whole job of like, making food for snakes and that kind of thing. And so, Doc, like, I don't want to get too distracted away from the film, but a tour of your lab, could you give us a 90-second précis on what a sort of bug agnostic person who's not freaked out, but who's not particularly knowledgeable, what is a sort of an open-minded, doesn't give a shit about bugs, but doesn't hate bugs kind of person experience working through your lab?
They get to come in, and so if you're a student who wants to work with me, it depends on how bug friendly you are. Some students come in and they don't want to touch anything, and that's fine, and we can kind of figure out I just started working on like a mapping project, so I can give them something like that. Because I work with these little roly-polies, they're pretty cute, and they're crustaceans, they're not insects. I know you guys are like, they're cute, what? If you Google roly-poly, I think you'll understand.
That's it. Shag, you stay in here. Like, while Doc's speaking, I'm Googling roly-poly.
Yeah, can you just Google it? Yeah, please do.
Roly-poly bugs, yeah.
So some of my students who are a little more comfortable will handle them. They eat like carrots and fish flakes, and they're kind of endearing. So we also have a spider. We have a few spiders. I don't have any students working with spiders right now, but they can. So I'm willing to work with the level of comfort that my students have. One of them wants to do a forensic entomology project in the fall, so that will probably be a little bit gross or grosser than
that's
usual.
the body's been dead 3 months with this kind of bug, 6 months with that kind of bug, 12 months with that kind of bug.
No, what?
Yeah,
Gross.
Yeah, you can time how long a body has been someplace based on what bugs are currently on it or in it.
Oh my God.
Just a quick roly-poly update. I hate to be bad host, Doc, but no, they're not cute.
Not cute?
They look like Did any of you guys see Raya and the Last Dragon? The like armadillo-y style kind of
Yeah, they're very
steed.
armadillo looking.
Yeah. They look kind of like that with just a slightly sinister, but also like almost like automotive air. Like I feel like there'd be like a 1970s sports car that would look a tiny bit like that. But sorry, I shouldn't be distracting everyone from the film. Doc, thank you for sharing the experience.
Let's get into this film. So, as I said before, I love the scientific approach they've taken to this, and we will be chatting with this and breaking that down as we go. But centuries ago in the Middle East, the Brotherhood of Sleep, great title.
Awesome.
A secret order of the Catholic Church, even cooler.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I agree, Kelly, like you're right. Like,
it's fun, right?
Right? Bring like Satan and the Catholic Church as its opposition into a film. I am there. Now, sometime like centuries ago, so like this is many years ago, discovered a massive cylinder containing a swirling green liquid. Now, this cylinder is anachronistic because it definitely doesn't look like something that was built in the early 400 AD or whenever we decided this is. Now, hidden even from the Vatican, the relic was eventually moved to Los Angeles and guarded in secrecy. And the way they explain it, they're like, the Order of Sleep is part of the Catholic Church. They have crazy power, but even the Pope doesn't know what actually they do. And in fact, the only person who knows is the Guardian, who looks after this thing. And then when he's about to die, passes on his info to the next Guardian of the Order of Sleep. And that's how it's worked through the years.
The Pope famously, they just exclude from a lot of things. They're like, like the Pope's a famously mid-level kind of guy. That's above the Pope's pay grade for him to know about this.
I also think like is LA really that old? Like I feel like
it's not,
because you bring it over by boat as well, like 150 years ago or something.
So the way America was colonized, it started at the East Coast. And then slowly made its way west. So LA is very new as far as, the country.
It's like 4 years old. Like LA was started with the Olympics in the 90s or whatever. Like, what the hell?
They built the Hollywood sign and were like, yeah, we should make some movies around here. Yeah,
I just wanted to mention before we get too far in, and I don't know if you noticed while you were watching this, Shag, but we're like 11 and a half minutes into the movie and the intro credits are still rolling.
Yes. It's like John Carpenter is just like, I'm just going to do whatever the fuck I want to do.
So distracting. I'm like, more credits? How is this still going on? I just kept writing the number down on my phone, trying to record notes, and I'm like, it's still happening.
Like the start of a Bond film.
So this giant cylinder of swirling, and it's fluoro. You saw it in the trailer. It's fluoro green liquid. Was moved to Los Angeles and guarded in secrecy. It's underground in this like downtown. Like I don't really know Los Angeles. I've never been there. Kelly, are you at all of? Have you been a visitor to LA or downtown LA?
I haven't been to LA. No, America is so big. I haven't gotten all that way west yet. I made it to Portland, Oregon, so soon. I'll get there eventually.
I have no idea how to play, but it looks like what I've seen in films.
Yeah, it looked proper.
It's a run-down church, and it's hidden in the basement of this church and protected by this Catholic priest.
Thanks for asking me whether I'd been to LA, Shag, and I have, so don't know if that helps. Anyway.
Peach, have you been to LA?
What a good guest you are, Doc. Thanks for asking. Yes, but I haven't seen this film, and so I can't really usefully comment.
In the present day, the last surviving member of the order dies before warning the cardinal that the sleeper awakens. A Catholic priest sent to examine his...
but this cardinal's allowed to know about it, but the Pope is not allowed to know about it.
Also, did they steal that line from Dune?
Oh, yeah, totally, right? Yeah. Also, before I forget, and please remind me if I don't say it, this film, when there's a very particular bug death moment, has one of my favorite horror movie lines I've ever heard.
You got bugged.
You got bugged. Yeah, all right. So a Catholic priest sent to examine his belongings recovers a key that leads him to the cylinder concealed beneath St. Goddard's monastery. Now, I really need to talk about this key because it's the silliest thing I've ever seen. So
It's so big too.
yeah. So when this priest dies, he has like a tiny little treasure chest, kind of like the sort of treasure chest you'd see on a pirate ship, but very miniature. And he dies with it in his hands. And when the priest sent to examine his belongings opens it, pulls out like, I don't know, like a key from a Disney movie. Like, it's silly. It's just gigantic.
Yeah, okay, it's like a DJ Khaled emoji kind of situation.
Yeah. So the priest enlists quantum physicist Professor Howard Birack to analyze the cylinder. Now, at the beginning of this film, while the credits are still rolling, we get to be privy to one of Howard Birack's classes. And look, I know you're a doctor of animals rather than a doctor of quantum physics, but he starts with a really interesting, I guess, theory that at the quantum level, all the rules we have of the universe and time completely break down and everything's basically magic. Is that true, or is that something John Carpenter made up?
No, it's pretty close to true. I don't know if it's all of our rules, but yeah, at the quantum level, we start getting things that physicists refer to as like spooky science, where you can't quite explain what's going on, and it might mean reality is not as maybe stable as we think it is. But yeah, I would say, without being a physicist, that was fairly accurate, at least to my knowledge.
The other idea he drops on the class, like a massive, and it's the 80s, so everything's like a truth bomb. You can see all their heads exploding with every line he says. Imagine anyone listening to a lecturer now in 2026. But and I'm sorry, because Kelly, I know you are one, but like,
I'm lucky they're looking at me and not their phone. It's okay.
Thanks for asking whether I give lectures, Shag, and I do. So appreciate it.
Yeah, but like, you're the fun lawyer to be like, now all your other lecturers are talking about boring law. Welcome to fun law.
Yeah, it's good.
No, but okay. So the other truth bomb he drops on the class is that we live, I guess, in the light matter world, and there's a dark matter world, which is the inverse opposite of everything. That feels made up, but is that not made up?
That's not quite what dark matter is. That's like a little bit of a John Carpenter spin. There's like matter and antimatter, and when they combine, there's like a specific reaction. So dark matter is a thing in physics, but I'm not really certain the way he was explaining it in the movie was correct. But yeah.
Peach, sorry, do you want to give your thoughts on dark matter?
I don't know anything about that. No, I've got no particular thoughts on. I think Doc covered it. Yeah, like I'm happy with that. I'll adopt those views. Yeah.
All right. So to analyze the cylinder, Barack brings along his students, and I kind of love that, like, because Kelly, you right now are taking your students on some field work over summer. Mm-hmm. Are you essentially their boss? Do you just get to tell them what, like do this, pick up this insect? Like, what does insect field work look like? Yeah, touch this gross insect.
It's like you're the host of Fear Factor, Doc. It's awesome.
Well, when you have undergrads, you don't have to carry things anymore. So some of it's like, here, carry this stuff that I don't want to carry. But it's going out and finding different sites where the bugs are that we're interested in studying, and flipping over rocks and digging through fallen logs and leaf litter and dirt.
If I am trying to, because we get a few spiders here that burrow into the ground. If I'm trying to get to a spider that's burrowed in the ground, what's the correct way for me to get it out without killing myself?
Don't go straight in that hole. Don't try to. It depends on how big the spider is, but I would dig. If you think the spider is like kind of here, you want to dig a perimeter around it. One, so you don't accidentally shovel a leg off of it and hurt it. And two, you don't want to go. We remember from that other movie, Infested, that you don't want to go straight down the hole of a spider
because they've made that hole as a trap, right? Like it's literally a trap to catch. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. All right, okay. So anyway, Barack brings along his students, wisecracking Walter Fong, and
Walter.
Yeah,
Walter.
But I've got mixed feelings, right? Because it's the 80s and there's like an Asian cast member who's just a normal dude. But
yeah, that is nice. But he gets a little bit weird later.
Well, yeah, all of his jokes are either like hyper sexist or like hyper homophobic. and it's really weird. Like at one point there's a line where I don't even know what this line means. One of the characters is getting a bruise from Satan, and she's like, I think this bruise is getting worse. It's starting to hurt. And he's like, no, bodies do that all the time with emotions. My doctor used to call it homosexual panic. And I was like, God. I don't even know what the, like, I like that would, like, what would, like, I don't even know what that line means.
The 80s.
It's the 80s. That's what it means. That's what that line means. Anyway.
Also, all those students, they're supposed to be, I guess, graduate students. They all look like they're 50 years old. Who did the casting on this?
Well, this is the 80s because teenagers are in their mid-30s and it's like, oh, shit, how are we going to convey that they're grad students? Yeah.
So wisecracking Walter Fong, demure Kelly, the highly strung Susan Cabot, laid-back Mullins, and lovers Brian March and Karen Danforth, as well as scientists Calder, Lisa, Etchinson, Lomax, Wyndham, and Dr. Paul Lay. I'm so sorry. There are so many names.
Lots of names.
And for the first time in a Wikipedia plot synopsis ever, at least for the first bunch of names, they gave us at least an adjective to describe their character, which I think is admirable. But Peach, you really don't need to remember any of them. Like,
I did tune out. I must say, I was like, oh, we're in name list mode. And I just go.
Yeah, where does your brain go?
I was trying to remember the album cover, Two Man in the Woods, and what year it came out is where my brain went. I was like, I think it is 2015.
Don't even bother remembering Susan because no one in the movie remembers Susan either.
No.
Oh, God.
You're like, who? The girl from radiology? Like, no idea.
What? The radiologist? It's like you literally just met her. All right. Okay. So
5 people forgot her name throughout the movie.
Fong was saying wild. That like she doesn't really count as a real character, but yeah, that's fine.
Well, no. Actually, also Fong at one point with another character is like, "Hey, you could almost pass for Asian," which again, as a pickup line, which was just like there are so many lines in this film where it's just like, oh, no wonder this has been forgotten to time. Anyway, all right. So the priest explains that the liquid's influence is growing and begs Barack to provide scientific proof of its nature to the public before it escapes. So it's very like it's a movie where I love the story, but it's weird what happened. So a priest discovers a secret order, and so he calls his scientist friend to come and examine the thing. I've got to ask about this scientific process. So they discover this giant vat in the bottom of a church that seems to have influence on all of the homeless people in LA, including Alice Cooper, I think, as a ringleader, homeless person. Would you as a scientist go, okay, let's just bring a whole bunch of machines and students to go and set up shop in this dungeon to study it? Is that like, that's movie scientific process? Is that the scientific process?
No.
I don't really know. It's been,
you've got this like huge structure full of mystery liquid. You'd probably want to quarantine everything first because you don't know, is that emitting anything? I did not see them test for like radioactive anything. You definitely would not bring some random grad students in from a classroom. That is insane. It was like the Avengers assembled, but grad students from every scientific field. It was real willy-nilly. That's not what would happen.
Now, soon after the team arrives and sets up, the monastery becomes encircled by increasingly hostile homeless people. I am using the terminology of Wikipedia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's all like, and you can tell they're homeless because they're like dirty and they push trolleys.
They're wearing long coats and they have
soot
on their faces.
Long coats.
Fingerless gloves.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the scientist's analysis reveals that the cylinder is at least 7 million years old, can only be opened from within, and contains a substance that is prebiotic yet evolving with intent instead of decaying. Please explain that so at one point they're like, it's prebiotic, but it's evolving. And I think as an audience, you're supposed to just go with it and be like, oh, fuck, it's evolving. What does that mean?
It doesn't mean anything. That was it was absolute nonsense. Prebiotic, I guess they're trying to say it they think it was here before there was any life, but where did they even get that from? How did they even guess that?
It's like a rock golem in there is sort of...
It makes no sense. Yeah. Half this, I wrote down like a few... I think prebiotic was one of the things I wrote down with 4 question marks next to it.
When I heard you guys deliver that, I was like, yeah, man, probiotic. It's like a big, it's like a big tube full of Yakult. It's good.
So one of the things that starts happening, as well as the homeless people encircling the monastery, is bugs start appearing on the window. And this is one of those weird moments where it's like worms, like a whole bunch of worms show up stuck to the window. Number one, can worms stick to windows?
You would have to throw them at the window. How did they get on that window? They can't crawl up it. Then.
No.
Can I posit a theory? Have we shot from underneath? Does that make sense in having not seen the shot?
Oh, for the shot? Yeah, they probably are. It's like this and they're shooting up at them. Worms are covered in a mucus that protects them because their skin is very porous and very soft, and it helps them kind of slide through the dirt. So they're kind of sticky in the way that they're just wet, but not like gooey sticky.
It's not Spider-Man powers, yeah.
And I know worms from being in dirt. Like, if you took a whole bunch and took them out of dirt and put them on a window, would they be just a bit scared?
They'd be very upset. Yeah, they want to be covered. They have a hard time moving. So after it rains, you'll see a bunch of worms on the surface, and that's usually because it's too wet for them and they don't want to drown. But they really want to be in the dirt and covered up. So they probably were not pumped to be on that window.
And that's I guess that's where I get to the thing of like the ethic, like, and it's like I can't watch these scenes anyway because I saw that scene and my first thought was, oh, those poor worms sort of thing.
I'm sorry I've ruined bug movies for you.
No, but if A24 and Ari Aster were like, we are doing a film, we need 1,000 roly-polies, we hear you're our hookup. Ethically, how would you feel about like donating your roly-polies to be in a film?
I would have to be there to kind of see what's going on. I don't want any of them crushed or harmed or maimed. They do feel stress, so I don't know. It would have to be under very controlled circumstances for me. And sometimes we do have to hurt them when doing research, and that's different. But hurting them so they can be in some Ari Aster movie.
That's different, is it? Oh,
it's a little bit different.
Yeah, there were some people in the 1940s, Doc, who had some ideas about that. But
for the record, I don't hurt any of my roly-polies, though. I don't do that kind of research.
But yes, okay, so translating the Brotherhood's ancient texts with an ancient computer screen. Remember when computer screens were black with green text?
Yeah, it was like the Matrix.
It just showed up? Yeah. Yeah, so that's what all the computers like in here. And they're translating these ancient texts. Catherine, who I guess is the translator scientist, because they basically find these old texts and they're like, they're written in Assyrian and Latin and Arabic.
She's probably an anthropologist.
Okay, well, that makes sense. She finds references to advanced mathematics predating their known discovery, while Lisa uncovers claims that the cylinder holds Satan, the son of an ancient god who was banished to the dark side. Now, this is where the narrative of this film, I think, becomes really interesting and really sticky, because we've already found out that this cylinder is 7 million years old, but does definitely not look like something that existed on Earth 7 million years old. And then we find out
what is evolving, in fairness,
that Satan it was the son of this ancient god who used to walk the earth but was banished to like the dark matter world, and his son was stuck in this cylinder. Now the text, this is super cool, and I fucking loved this because the film, I mean, it's called The Prince of Darkness. The film is filled with crucifixes, but then they reveal that the text described Jesus Christ as an extraterrestrial who looked like a human, who tried to warn humanity of the cylinder's threat, but was executed by those who deemed him insane and too powerful. Barak theorizes that Satan's father may be the anti-god, an even more powerful being trapped in a parallel realm of antimatter. Peach, are you on board with this?
I think there's a risk that you tie yourself in knots where you're like, we're going to have a quasi-scientific explanation. Because I think sometimes you can go, it's magic shit. Like, it's God stuff around here. Like, you know, it's weird, Catholic-y, God-y, 7 million years ago stuff, bit of alien stuff in there. But I think once you go, yeah, it's about the Catholic Church, and it's about Jesus, and it's about aliens, and it's about, you know, science fiction, and it's everything. And you're kind of like, yeah, all right, well, if it's about everything, it's sort of about nothing as well. Of like so, I think I'm not on board. I think it's my genuine answer. I'm kind of like, no, like you've lost me. Of like, so we're talking about a genuine. Oh, sorry, and we've also got parallel dimensions as well. So it's like every sci-fi thing thrown in. That's kind of like, yeah, okay. So this isn't really about anything anymore. No, I'm not on board.
They threw it all in a hat and it meant to pull out a couple ideas and said, fuck it, we'll do the whole hat, the entire hat.
It's a very camel horse by committee situation of like, yeah, Kelly, you want Catholic Church stuff? We'll chuck it in. Shag, bit of sci-fi for you. Yeah, Peach, you want some like devil stuff? We'll chuck it in. Yeah, that's fine.
I don't know, Kelly, what did you think about this like scientific retelling of God and the devil?
I thought it was really... I kind of liked it. It lost me a little bit at Aliens. I was like, well, we were kind of... I'm like, we could do the matter, antimatter as a juxtaposition of good versus evil. Yeah, I like that. But then they're like, Jesus was an alien. I'm like, wait, what? Excuse me?
All right. Okay. So. The liquid begins to exert its influence beyond its container, spraying into Susan's mouth and possessing her. Now... There is, like, Susan, of course, everyone forgot about her. So it makes sense that she was just wandering around by herself next to the container. The container does this thing where the liquid sort of pours up onto, like, it's constantly dripping onto the roof of the container.
That effect was very cool. I thought that was really cool.
The sort of thing you'd see in, like...
No, it's really prebiotic, that kind of thing. You see that a lot.
But somehow it also shoots a spray of liquid into Susan's mouth, possessing her. She in turn infects or kills other members of the team, while anyone who tries to leave is slaughtered by the enthralled homeless, including a scene where the first scientist who tries to leave comes across a bird that's been crucified, which, like, sure, like, they're just like the homeless, they crucify birds. But and then Alice Cooper, as I guess the leader of the possessed homeless, takes half of a bike and stabs him with it.
So, yeah.
Stabs who? Sorry. So
stabs a scientist tried to leave.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
And he gets cornered, and then Alice Cooper stabs him with like you know, like if you took a bike apart and you had, I guess, that half of the frame would be like a cylinder that maybe has like a sharp end. Okay. So he stabs him with that, and he's like, "Yeah, you're dead. I'm possessed."
I wonder how Alice Cooper felt about this movie. He is a very religious Christian man.
Which is weird, right? Like, because it's like, you think it's going to be a classic, the church versus the devil, but it's actually, the church is all a lie and it's been hiding this real truth that Jesus was an alien who tried to warn us about the anti-dimension. Anyway, all right, okay. The survivors realize that since their arrival, they've experienced a shared dream of a shadowy figure emerging from the monastery. Now, this is so sick.
Oh my God. And so now we're into like dream sharing.
No, wait, Peach.
Yeah, okay.
Peach, it gets insane. Insane. Tachyons, is that a real thing in science?
Tachyons are a real term in physics, yeah. It's I think a particle, some kind of particle. So that is real.
And it's a particle that I believe that can go faster than light. And if you can go faster than light, you can go back in time. So the idea is that people from the future, maybe Jesus.
Just no comment from Doc on if you can go faster than light, you can go back in time. That's cool. You're just gonna let that slide, Doc. That's fine.
No, yeah. that is the assumption. Yeah.
So these Jesus affiliated aliens or people from the future have sent back messages via people's dreams that is just this shaky steady cam of a shadowy figure that we can't really see beginning to emerge from the church. And it has this really cool audio effect where it's like, this is not a dream. You are seeing a transmission from the year 199, and then it cuts off. And then it's like, we are using, maybe it doesn't say this, but I feel like it almost says, we are using tachyons to warn you about the future, sort of thing. So everyone in the church keeps having this shared dream, which I get this film's a mess. I get that it's everything, but I loved that. I was like, that is cool as hell. So Brian surmises that the dreams are a warning sent from the future using tachyons. Meanwhile, the remaining liquid enters Kelly, transforming her into a monstrous vessel for Satan. And by that, her skin just starts peeling off. And eventually she just sort of has a flayed face.
She kind of looks pregnant for a little while too, and I really thought we were going to get like baby Satan action happening, and
then she's not pregnant, and then the stomach goes down. Like everything's just a bit like, oh, okay, cool. So this is happening now. But anyways, yeah. So she then becomes like a faceless representative of Satan. Displaying telekinesis and rapid regeneration, Satan attempts to free the anti-god by reaching through a handheld mirror.
Hang on.
But it is too small. And
who's displaying telekinesis?
So this woman, Kelly, who's transformed into a monstrous vessel for Satan.
By Satan. Sorry,
is now possessed by Satan, right? Now, I don't think it's in the Wikipedia synopsis, but I'd like to talk about one really key death and cool line in this film. So one of the characters goes outside and then is stabbed to death by scissors by Alice Cooper.
This Christian stuff, from Alice Cooper. That's good.
He then reappears as, I guess, like a sewn-up body, speaking in a weird voice, and he's like, hey, I've got a message for you. And they look out the window, and there's this character, and he's just covered in bugs. Now, are they the 6,000 stink beetles?
Yeah, those were beetles. Because the film was really dark, I couldn't get a good look as to what kind they were, but yeah, those were all beetles.
You'd hate that if you were the insect wrangler, like where you're like, we didn't get a clean shot of these fucking, I brought you 6,000 beetles and you didn't even get them.
Now, dumb question, what are beetles? Like, there are so many different kinds. Like, what even are they?
Beetles are at the order level. So they're called Coleoptera. They're like their own category. Just like the same, how do I compare this? So Hymenoptera is also an order, and that contains ants, wasps, bees, and sawflies. Beetles are so big, they're their own jam. They're super old. The first pollinators were beetles. They've been around forever. They're probably the largest order of insects, maybe Hemiptera. There's always like entomologists infighting about which order is bigger, but it's probably beetles. So yeah, there's like thousands of species of beetle.
Yeah, we're
it's
on
hard for me
beetle,
to know exactly who those guys were.
Well, we are, and this character is surrounded by heaps of beetles, and it looks like he stomps on like maybe 50 of them. And I don't know, like
does.
that again, like that just feels like that feels like the thing where you'd want the insect wrangler on set to be like, whoa. Like this is not what I planned from having all these beetles. But are there people who look after insects who don't really, are just like, oh, these are meat, I can use these?
Oh yeah. I bet a lot of those, I shouldn't say a lot, someone will yell at me. Some Hollywood insect wranglers probably make, they breed 1 million of these beetles and they don't care if they get stomped or not. There's not a lot of pushback about invertebrate abuse, I guess you could call it.
And it feels weird to devote your life to breeding an animal and having no emotional connection to it.
All those legs, guys. It's all those legs.
Yeah, I mean, production animals, like I mean, this is the battery chicken kind of line of what springs to mind for me of like, you can make a living and you can make a lot of money putting production animals through what I would say are like highly unethical processes. And I think there's a dissociation that allows you to say things like, well, sorry, I actually might not volunteer the arguments, but people make these arguments for themselves to kind of work through the ethics and satisfy themselves. So you can kind of imagine in our darker...
Often it's just a bug will come up, and that's not how we should be looking at living beings, as it's just to this or it's just to that. Yeah.
So in this scene, this kind of like this sort of sewn back together man speaking in a weird voice, so clearly possessed by, I guess, the hive mind of Satan, is covered in these stink bugs. And, they're coming out of his sleeves, they're coming out of his pants. My understanding is in the film, they literally poured a bucket of these stink bugs down the actor's pants. Oh. There are scenes in films where like a spider or bugs crawl on people. Are bugs like just happy to crawl on you, or do they just get on you and immediately just want to jump off? How does that work in terms of like bug wrangling?
I would imagine the sheer volume of those bugs and now they're taking them and pouring them down someone's clothing. It's like a really confined space. They're probably going to be pretty freaked out about being in there. Not to anthropomorphize the bugs too much, but I can't imagine they're happy about it. It's got to be really stressful. You know where they want to be? Hiding. They want to be like hiding in the tank that smells like them, that smells like their family members, because they're probably all bred together. They don't want to be in your pants at all.
Yeah, no matter how gregarious. Yeah.
Yes.
So
they must have bitten him too. That actor must have been bitten.
Yeah, can stink bugs bite?
Yeah, they have stink bugs. If they were stink bugs, then they're from order Hemiptera, which are what we call true bugs. They're not beetles. And they all
suck shit, beetles.
So all the bugs in that order have needle-like proboscis, kind of like a mosquito, and they use it to either suck sap from plants or to suck hemolymph, which is what we call bug blood from other bugs.
Oh my God.
And some of them use it to suck blood from humans. There are some Hemiptera that do that. So they will bite you. Plenty of stink bugs will bite you if you like squeeze them or they feel threatened. And if this man had a bunch of them down his pants, I'm sorry, that's not great.
I do think I could beat up a stink bug though, in fact.
I wouldn't bet on you with the chimp, sorry Peach, but I would bet on you with the stink bug.
So the possessed begin attacking the survivors while Satan locates a larger mirror and reaches through. And there's this cool effect when they reach through and break through to the antimatter world that it's like water. So the glass becomes like water when they reach their hands through. And on the other side, it's just blank. And
that was kind of cool.
It's super cool. This part I didn't love because I was just a bit like, oh, that's what the anti-god's hand looks like. She reaches and grabs like a classic devil claw, like a red.
The hand sucked. That could have been cooler.
Yeah, right? And just starts bringing it through the mirror. The priest attacks with an axe, but Satan instantly regenerates like her head and her arms and stuff and resumes the summoning. Realizing the danger, Catherine tackles Satan into the portal, sacrificing herself. And there's this amazing scene where she takes the girl who's become like all flayed through the mirror, and they basically are on the other side and they look back and the mirror closes because he shatters it with the axe. And there's this moment of like, where the fuck am I stuck? Who am I stuck with? What is going on? Like it's a properly amazing feel.
It was very scary to think about. Like you're just trapped in there with whatever this monster is.
Right? Like it was so cool. Anyway, the priest shatters the mirror, sealing Satan, the anti-god, and to Brian's horror, Catherine on the other side. Instantly, the possessed dies, the liquid evaporates, and the homeless disperse. Brian, Walter, Barack, and the priest are rescued as emergency crews arrive. Okay. We're at the end, and again, I loved this ending, but I'm keen to hear your interpretation of it, Kelly, and yours, Peach, too. Later, Brian dreams once more, and this time we get a vision of who the shadowy figure walking out of the church is, and we see Catherine as the dark figure emerging from the church. He awakens to find her disfigured body beside him, only to realize it was another nightmare. Shaken, he approaches his mirror, hesitantly reaching out toward its surface, and the film cuts to black before we can see if he can pass his hand through. That's the end of Prince of Darkness. Kelly, what did you make of that ending?
I liked it. I like the ambiguity of it where we're not really sure if it worked or not, if stopping it worked. I'm glad as soon as he starts reaching his hand towards the mirror, I'm like, oh, please don't show us. Please don't show us. And then they did it. And I'm like, yes, that's how to end a movie. I really enjoyed it. I like this movie. For all of its flaws, all of its like everything in the hat is on screen, and that's fine. But I liked it. Shag, you said you wanted to talk about your favorite death.
Oh my God, yes I do. Yes I do. Thank you for reminding me.
Doc, did you make a note of that? How did you? That is incredible so recall. It's after midnight where Doc's recording. She's had a full day of work, and so sorry. It's the next morning. Amazing, bravo, Doc.
We're scientists or memorization machines. We're just lock it in there, you know. And I know it was important to Shag, so I wasn't going to forget.
Thank you. I really appreciate
so nice.
that. So there's this line when, remember when I told you that guy sort of gets like re-stitched together by bugs and he's like covered in bugs and the bugs are all down his pants. And then I think his leg, like one of his leg falls off and just all these bugs come out of the trouser hole and his hand falls off and then all these bugs come out of the hand hole. It's properly grotesque, but the line he says is so fucking cool. In a weird voice, he's like, "I have a message for you. You're not going to like it." And I was like, "Ah,
I loved
yes! That is what I watch horror films for. I want to hear shit like that."
It was so ominous.
So ominous. I can't even remember what he said after that. I don't even know if he did.
I don't think he said anything. That's why it was so good. They're like looking at him from the window and they just look at each other like, whoa, shit, this is not okay.
And then his head falls off and there's just more bugs like appearing from his like neck stump. Peach, I don't know what, like now that you've heard the whole thing, did you get on board at any point? Are you still not on the Prince of Darkness train?
I'm finding your guys' energy quite infectious, I've got to say. So from a like what's on the page, I find it a little too disjointed to really get on board with. But to see you two like get into it, I'm a little more open to it. And because it's a Feel Bad Club suggestion, I'm a little more open to it. But I think, look, what Roland Barthes would talk about is that I'm bringing my own baggage to the audio version of the Wikipedia plot synopsis of the 39-year-old film. And so, you know, I'm seeing it through a number of different lenses. My vote is sort of like a whisper of like nice try, and I can imagine it being a sort of campy cult classic. So I can see why it's suggested. I think there's a bit of a legacy when you've got such a heavy footprint like John Carpenter, where much like your kind of, I've forgotten Stephen King's kid's name. What's his name? Joe Hall or Joe Chill or whatever.
Yeah, I think Joe Hill.
Joe Hill, not Joe Chill. I've forgotten who Joe Chill is. I think he's a Batman villain. In any case.
I think isn't that Snoopy when he puts on a pair of sunglasses? But maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, sick, Joe Chill, yeah, Joe Cool, yeah, I don't
Joe
know.
Cool. No, that's Joe Cool. Yeah, sorry.
Joe Cool. All good names, and all things this film could have been named. And so I think while it doesn't yield to a cold, clinical plot synopsis, an enjoyment from that point of view, I think the vibe is pretty strong, and the vibe is both in the work itself and in kind of the culture that's distilled over the best part of 4 decades since it's come out. So it gets a certified fresh from me, but it's mainly because of the way you guys have explained it.
I want to thank you so much, Dr. Kelly Zimmerman, for joining us once again and being Spooko's resident bug expert. I have to ask because the seed of having you back on this episode was, realizing that horror films that delve into like Satan, devil worship, the sort of the Christian church devils often just innately connect bugs to Satan, which is probably unfair, and I feel like Satan at this point owns worms. He owns flies. If we could connect a bug to the angels and God and, just a general sense of goodness, who do you think should be the poster child for the morally good bug?
Oh boy. Probably everyone probably thinks of butterflies and moths. Or I would go with dragonflies. Dragonflies are
Let's go.
excellent predators. Their larvae eat mosquito larvae. So if you're anti-mosquito, there you go. Something really whimsical and fun, like a dragonfly.
Yeah, like just the baby eating dragonfly. You're right. Yeah. That's doing a lot for their PR.
I note for completeness you didn't mention roly-polies, Doc, which I think if we're giving you more notice, you might have volunteered.
So I know I can't mention my rollies. Yeah.
Everyone needs to immediately listen to Bugs Need Heroes right now. 2 reasons for that. One of them is Doc is a boss and she makes a great podcast. The second reason is that almost like, the concept is in the name, right? Like a lot of the things we've sort of touched on in passing here sort of encompass Shag and I learning a little bit more about how we deal with invertebrate actors, right? Like and kind of trying to broaden our minds on concepts of inclusivity. And while we might go, yuck, like bugs, we might take a very Prince of Darkness view to stink beetles, stink bugs, and that kind of thing. I think it's sort of incumbent on all of us to be open-minded when we're presented with ideas that might not have naturally come our way thus far. And so the friendship homework is go listen to Bugs Need Heroes right now, and then comment in the Discord which episode of the last 15 has been your favorite and list 5 reasons why.
And then go outside and like pat a bug on the head.
Very gently. Tell her you love it. It's fine.
Or eat one if you're in an alone type situation.
This was recorded at FBI Studios. Please like, subscribe, and follow wherever you can and as much as you can. And Resh's, what's up?